Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. Australia's Prime Minister vows to ban children under 16 from social media over pervasive influence of the platform on kids. Nigeria clergyman Chukwuemeka, popularly known as Odumeje, says TikTok disconnected him because of his dangerous miracles. Unidentified persons rape 2-year-old girl to death in Ningi local government area of Bauchi State. I am Florence Joshua with these and more. Against the backdrop of End Bad Governance protests in Nigeria, the first public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, has called on all Nigerians to familiarize themselves with the constitution and other laws of the country to ensure they don't break the law. Olumuyiwa, who made the appeal while responding to questions against police brutality of End Bad Governance protests during the August protest, also added that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is not a restricted law. Clearview News, Imofon Okon has the details.
You people are trying to just protest, to express your feelings, tell the government how you feel. Why people are actually trying to capitalize on that and get money? And they actually got money. We're talking of 9 billion naira. We intercepted certain things, conversations that people were planted. You notice that in Kano, it is not a protest, violent street. Because the person they gave money in Kano was to make sure there's bloodbath, not to even protest. In Maraba, 1 minute or 1 hour into the protest, they started burning stations, attacking, and marching inward. Which God do you have that you want to go and face Abacha virus and be stoning them? Somebody is carrying AK, you are carrying bottle.
The protest tagged End Bad Governance in Nigeria, which took place in August, owing to the harsh economic conditions in Nigeria, was largely peaceful, but later became violent in some parts of the country, with properties destroyed. Recall the organizers of the End Bad Governance in Nigeria, now in Ibadan, Oyo and other states, said the Nigerian people have the right to say enough is enough to bad governance irrespective of the religion. The first public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, in his reaction advised Nigerians who always claim that they know their right to read the constitution carefully.
I think section 33 or whatever they're saying, right to life. That you have right to live as a person and nobody can take your life. But don't forget, that same law provides about 5 or 6 conditions that law enforcement can take your life justifiably under the law. It's the same law. Don't let us deceive people that you have a fundamental human right to do this. We always fail to remind them of the exceptions to this law. Don't let us confuse our people. And to Nigerians, I want to appeal to you. Let us lay our hands on some of these documents. These are open documents. They are not restricted documents. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is not a restricted document. Criminal Code is not a restricted document. The Penal Code, all our laws are not restricted. Even online you can Google and read. Let us be familiar with our laws so that we will not continue to goof and we think we are doing the right thing. Police is always out there to make sure we protect lives and property and carry out our mandate as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are not your enemies.
Adejobi also cleared the air on the inversion and the arrest of the NLC president, Joe Ajero.
I was in the NLC office and they showed me the case file that a particular man, that man will declare one thing, that Andrew has done this, has done this, has done that. We went to 2nd floor of the NLC building. We actually struck. It's when we struck that even we were aware that NLC was not even in control of that building. It is named Neighbor House. It's NLC building, but the NLC is still, I think somebody is still managing the building for them. So apparently the NLC president is not even aware of all his tenants. Behold, somebody got a job and was operating from here. Somebody that has been fingered in crises across about 7, 8, 9 countries across the world, particularly African country.
It may interest you to know that months after the protest, the federal government arraigned some of the demonstrators on a 10-count charge, but the move was greeted with outrage after some of them were spotted as minors. Imefo Nokon reporting for Clever News.
The Kaduna State government has provided 100,000 naira in cash, new smartphones and other forms of support to 39 End Bad Governance protesters recently released from detention. This was as the government reunited them with their families on Wednesday after being released from detention. The reunion ceremony took place at the children's homes along Kuru Road in Kaduna, where Governor Uba Sani pledged support for the protesters, promising to help them reintegrate into society. He assured them of empowerment opportunities, provided they committed to lawful and responsible conduct. Speaking to journalists after the protesters were released, the secretary to the Kaduna State government, Abdulkadir Mary, who spoke on behalf of the governor, disclosed that Sani had directed him to collect the credentials of those who have completed their tertiary education. He declared that the governor has promised that some of them will be given startup capitals to commence trading, while others will be taught skills or be given employment. However, the SSG noted that they would be tracking the activities and conduct of all the released protesters to ensure they are of good behavior before these benefits will be extended to them. Mary noted that the state government has taken the details of the released detainees, including contact addresses, telephone numbers and names of their next of kins for easy tracking and monitoring. The Defense Headquarters says its troops have uncovered a new terrorist sect known as the Lakurawas operating in the northwest region of the country. At a press briefing this Thursday, Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, told newsmen that the group, which has its origin from the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria terrorist group ISIS in the Sahelian region, has been terrorizing residents in the region and spreading their ideology to communities, which could portend grave danger to national security. Let's now join Clearview's Gloria Atta for details.
It is no news that Nigeria is currently facing security challenges across all 6 geopolitical zones. This challenge, fueled by deep-rooted socio-economic, ethnic and religious tensions, takes various forms, including insurgency, terrorism, communal clashes, banditry, kidnapping and piracy. The Northeast has been particularly plagued by the insurgency led by Boko Haram and its offshoot, ISWAP, resulting in a severe humanitarian crisis that has seen millions displaced and widespread destruction. The Northwest faces challenges with banditry and kidnapping, where armed groups attack rural communities, causing significant loss of lives and displacement. At the Defense Headquarters bi-weekly press conference in Abuja, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, told newsmen that the region is yet again faced with another security threat.
This new group that has penetrated the northwestern part of the country, known as the Lakurawas, they are affiliated to ISIS in the Sahelian region. And it is indeed the first attempt of the Sahelian jihadists to have a foothold in our country. Like I mentioned earlier, they were kept at bay all this while when we had joint cross-border operations with the Republic of Niger. However, when the coup took place in Niger, they took advantage of the breakdown in cooperation between both countries, which has now been restored. They took advantage of that breakdown to make incursions through the difficult terrain to remote locations around the outskirts of the northwestern part of our country, some of those states. We know exactly where they are as I speak to you.
He, however, assured citizens of the armed forces' commitment to tackling these challenges head-on. He added that currently the military is on the hunt for about 9 persons linked for fueling terrorist activities across different parts of the northeast.
I hereby declare these terrorists as wanted persons. They carried out very heinous crimes in the northeast. We have been after them and finally have all their details as we have put out on the screen. The contact numbers for anybody who cites them are there.
He speaks further on the successes recorded from other theaters of operation during the week under review, including the killing of 481 terrorists and arrest of 741 others.
It is noteworthy to state that in October 2024, troops neutralized 481 terrorists. We arrested 741 persons connected with terrorism and insurgency, and we rescued 492 kidnapped hostages during the month of October. Troops have also significantly destroyed the terrorist fighting capabilities by the reported outcomes that I just listed. Furthermore, troops recovered 480 weapons and over 9,000 assorted ammunition in the course of the month of October 2024. These recoveries illustrate how troops have diminished the military capabilities of these terrorists. Indeed, troops also denied the oil theft of close to 4 billion naira in the month of October. This speaks to demonstrate how troops have curbed crude oil theft and how our operations have boosted the nation's daily crude oil production in helping us meet our daily targets.
The military high command again stressed the need for all Nigerians to continuously support the armed forces in its fight against insecurity by providing relevant information on suspicious and illegal activities around their environment. Gloria Atta, reporting for Clearview News.
The tragic and devastating October 7 attack on Israel remains one of the deadliest in its history, as many lives were lost, leading to widespread destruction. It all began like a nightmare when Hamas and other Palestinian militant groups launched coordinated armed incursion from the Gazian Strip into southern Israel, marking the first invasion of Israeli territory since the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The documentary "We Will Dance Again" sheds light on the devastating attacks in Israel, particularly its impact on the Nova Music Festival massacre. Clearview News brings details of the movie screening. The bloodiest day in Israel's history is captured in the first documentary to compile cell phone footage of the mass murder of festival attendees by Hamas militants. Director Moza masterfully weaves together cell phone footage and survival accounts which create a heart-wrenching narrative. The film focuses on a dozen survivors in their 20s, capturing their fear and resilience. Moza highlighted the innocence of how victims who came to a party for love and peace, freedom, face the evils of man's inhumanity to man. Israeli Ambassador to Nigeria Michael Freeman emphasizes the great impact of that tragic day, highlighting the loss of over 1,200 lives and widespread devastation, while stressing that Iran's support for Hamas and other militant groups poses a significant threat to global stability.
On October the 7th, everything changed. Israel faced one of the darkest and most horrific days in its modern history. Families have been torn apart, and an entire generation of Israelis bear the scars of that day. But let us be clear, this was not just an attack on individuals, or only an attack on Israel, but an assault on the very values that all of us here hold dear: freedom, peace, tolerance, and the sanctity of life. To those that call for an arms embargo on Israel, what message are you sending? That you are on the side of the murderers and butchers of Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and their Iranian sponsors, and that Israel, uniquely amongst the world's nations, should not have the right to self-defense. It is a morally defenseless and shameful position to hold. On October the 7th, everything changed. As we remember the victims, we also recognize the resilience of the Israeli people. Our history is filled with moments of hardship, but time and time again, we have stood together in the face of adversity. We have mourned, but we have also rebuilt, and we will continue to stand strong with our friends and with our partners, honoring the memory of those we have lost by striving for a future where such horrors are not repeated, for a better future, a future of peace for all the peoples of our region. The war in Lebanon will only end with the full implementation of UN Resolution 1701, with Hezbollah unable to rearm and pushed back beyond the Litani River, and the Lebanese army in control of the south of Lebanon. In Gaza, we must see the release of all the hostages and a new authority in control of the Strip, one that won't threaten Israel again.
The October 7 attack was a stark reminder of the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine and the need for a peaceful resolution to the crisis. It is essential to recognize the human cost of the conflict and work towards creating a safer and more secure environment for all parties. A 2-year-old girl has been raped to death by a yet-to-be-identified person in Ningi local government area of Bauchi State. The spokesperson of the command, SP Ahmed Muhammad Okili, confirmed the tragic incident in a statement on Tuesday, November 5, 2024. According to the PPRO, the minor's body was found dumped beside a mosque with suspected signs of rape. Medical reports confirmed that the child had suffered severe injuries as a result of penetration, which led to her death. Condemning the heinous crime, the State Commissioner of Police, CP Awal Musa Muhammad, PSC, has directed the Divisional Police Officer to make extra efforts to apprehend the perpetrators and bring them to justice. He also called on parents and guardians to ensure the safety of their children and not to allow them to wander around the streets. The command is soliciting the public assistance with any useful information could help in arresting and prosecuting the perpetrators. Australia's Prime Minister has this Thursday banned children under 16 from social media, saying the pervasive influence of the platform is doing real harm to our kids. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has threatened that the tech giant would be held responsible for enforcing the age limit and face hefty fines if regulators notice young users slipping through the cracks. Australia is among the vanguard of nations trying to clean up social media, and the proposed age limit would be among the world's strictest measures aimed at children. The new laws would be presented to state and territory leaders this week before being introduced to Parliament in late November. Once passed, the tech platforms will be given a 1-year grace period to figure out how to implement and enforce the ban. Nigeria clergyman Chukwuemeka aka Odumeje has stated that TikTok disconnected him because of his dangerous miracles. The clergy made this known while addressing his congregation on why he was blocked on the video sharing platform. Speaking on a clip shared on the internet, the cleric noted that he has performed a lot of what he described as dangerous miracles that the platform is afraid of. Odumeje accused those who don't believe in his miracles of preventing him from having an account, adding that even social media is rejecting him because his miracles are beyond them. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news on Clever News Desk. We will be back after this break. Stay with us.
We break the news.
This is Christ Embassy.
Recollect, we were the first to break this.
Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has approved the appointment of 3 second-class emirs.
And this?
Erasmus is the most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this?
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in River State. The planned arraignment of Yaya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out as the news breaks on Clearview.
Welcome back. From thrilling performances on the football pitch to successful transitions into the business world, some Nigerian footballers have proven they are as sharp off the field as they were on it. Clearview News correspondent highlights 10 Nigerian footballers who crossed over to various business enterprises after their footballing careers.
Kanu Nwankwo is an iconic figure in Nigerian football and a successful businessman. He owns the Adler Apartment, a 4-star hotel located in Victoria Highland, Lagos. He serves as the chairman of Enyimba Football Club and was appointed Sportbeat Global Ambassador in 2022. Kanu also shares his knowledge with sport organizations all around the world as a freelance sport consultant. Another interesting sports personality is Obafemi Martins, who owns thriving businesses, among which are Kosa Nostra Patron, a well-known nightclub in Lagos, and a clothing line with its trademark acrobatic emblem. In the United States are two of his endeavors. With this, Martins owns more than 20 homes in desirable locations in Lagos, Nigeria. Next is JJ Okocha, one of the most popular football players in Nigeria. He is the owner of TGBG Global Investment Limited, a conglomerate that includes Bureau de Change, a restaurant, a bar, and the importation of consumer products such as wine, and a brand ambassador for a Nigerian logistics company, and also a football commentator for a popular sports channel. Also among these distinguished sportsmen is Mikel Obi's business ventures, which is as varied as his football career. He co-owns a transport company that operates interstate routes in Nigeria and serves as the face of one of Africa's sports betting company. Mikel also hosts a podcast where he shares insight into sport and business. And next is former Super Eagles striker Emmanuel Amunike, has successfully solidified his footprint in Nigeria's property market, just as he did in football. He owns several real estate properties, including hotels and suites in Lagos, Owerri, and Imo State. He sells premium Turkish armored doors for luxury homes. From Amunike, we move on to former goalkeeper for the Super Eagles, Vincent Inyema, who currently owns a hotel in Akwa Ibom State. His passion as a footballer is reflected in his attention to providing high-quality service, which draws people of all kinds to the establishment. Moving on to Victor Ikpeba, a former Nigerian international who has turned his expertise to sports media as a pundit for a popular sports channel where he could host Monday Night Football. Ikpeba is also a brand ambassador for a leading sports pit company in Nigeria. His insights and enthusiasm for the sport have made him a respected figure in football analysis, inspiring a new generation of fans and players alike. Yakubu Ayekbene, also known as the Yak, has thrown himself into sport management with his Wheelbarrow Sport Management Company, committed to developing future coaches and athletes, and has a training facility in Florida and USA. Ayekbene's recent decision to sign with Enfield Town in the National League South after coming out of retirement demonstrated his unwavering love for football. He intends to continue serving as an agent and mentor while extending his impact in sport management to Cyprus. The last on our list is Sam Soje, who has shifted his focus to construction, with Innovation Creations Limited specializing in leasing heavy machinery in Nigeria's growing construction sector. His experience as a former footballer and entrepreneur has allowed him to understand the value of infrastructure development, and his company provides essential resources for Nigeria's expanding construction industry. These footballers are great examples of how professional athletes can use their skill, fame, and experience in successful businesses. Today, we celebrate these successful individuals who have distinguished themselves in sport and have become a good example for the younger generations.
And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of the top stories. Australia's Prime Minister has this Thursday vowed to ban children under 16 from social media over the pervasive influence of the platforms, causing real harm to children in the country. Nigeria clergyman Chukwuemeka aka Odumeje has stated that he was disconnected from TikTok because the platform could not handle his dangerous miracles. A 2-year-old girl has been raped to death by a yet-to-be-identified person in Ningi local government area of Bauchi State. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for watching. I am Florence Joshua. Bye for now.